All right, welcome back to the channel and another episode of the oldest bone that I own. I'm your host, EJ Parker. Thanks for joining. There's something very special and interesting in this box. It's a bone. I'll give you that clue. This is something I acquired recently. I've been studying this, learning a lot about it. There's a lot more to learn. So let's just skip the small talk and just get right to it, shall we? Let's do it. So let's take a look at this. Here we go. This is a monkey skull. It's a skull of a monkey. It's a real monkey skull, abandoned by the original owner. This is an antique medical specimen, probably 75 years old. And to be more specific, this is a skull of a female squirrel monkey, which is a New World monkey, not one of those old crotchety, mothball smelling old world monkeys. This is a New World monkey, tech savvy. Jokes aside, we're going to talk about the difference between old and New World monkeys, and that involves us, folks. So, I don't know. It'll get you thinking, hopefully. We'll talk about what this animal actually was in real life. We'll talk about evolution, paleontology, philosophy, and much more. So if you like that, you're in the right spot. So I bought this on eBay. I love eBay. It's a 24/7 virtual bazaar where you can buy anything, including monkey heads. I bought this just because I wanted to know, hey, can I really buy a monkey skull on eBay? And I bought it. It's here. It arrived. I won it in an auction. It was around 150 bucks. No one else bid on it. Their loss. This is fabulous. I'm going to draw this. Why did I buy this? I'm going to draw this and study. My daughter and I are building a natural world collection. This will go into, and I also draw bones. I also draw real bones, animal bones, human bones, skulls, but real bones. And someone asked me why, because real bones are a little bit more expensive. They're expensive, you know what I mean? Like a human bone or an animal bone. They're not cheap, they're not too expensive, but they're not cheap. And the reason why I draw real bones is because there's so much nuance and detail in the bone that you just can't replicate. And resin copies are good, but they're just not the same. And yes, these are all legally bought. There are dedicated bone dealers online, so if you want to acquire a piece for your own curiosity, you can reach out to me and I can point you in the right direction, because there are dedicated bone dealers. And drawing real bone has single-handedly made me a better artist. I've even drawn a human skull live on my channel, I think a couple years ago. The femurs are really fun to draw. They're very beautiful bones. But skulls are very challenging. There's so much intricacy to the bone, and there's frail bones within the nasal cavity, and there's a lot to it, and the shading and shadows. So I plan to draw this. I haven't drawn this yet, but I plan to draw it very soon. So let's talk about now. So it was bought on eBay. With eBay, you can't, of course, buy anything that's endangered. You can't buy or sell any human body parts. There's specific things that like whale parts, things like that, you cannot sell on eBay. But this is a common. There's a ton of these things out there running around, so this is kosher on eBay. eBay kosher. So there you have it. In case you were wondering, you can buy a monkey skull on eBay. Moving along. What was this animal? This was an adult female squirrel monkey. It probably lived in Brazil. Brazil has the largest population of these creatures. They live throughout Central America and South America. New World monkeys are they're not, there's a bunch of different kinds of New World monkeys. Spider monkeys, owl monkeys, lemurs, common squirrel monkeys, black squirrel monkeys. Um, we're going to talk about why and how these differ from old world monkeys, and that includes us. But this animal, what this was, when it was alive, it weighed, they're not too big. And I have notes, by the way, as always, of course. They weren't too big, between 1 to 3 pounds. As far as how tall they were, between 9 to 14 inches. So here's 14 inches, it's like that tall. It's about as tall as the squirrels in my yard. We have squirrels here in Ohio, in Northeast Ohio. We have fox squirrels, and they're cute, and they're about the size of, they're smaller than this, but they get chunky in the winter, and they act like primates. They're up in the trees, jumping with ease, from tree to tree, from limb to limb. But back to squirrel monkeys. So, interesting fact about this animal, they are known for having the largest brain to body mass ratio of any primate, including us humans. The brains are oversized. You can see how their cranium extends in the back. They have an oversized brain for processing what? Not reason and social things, but for them, it's processing movement and vision. That's why they're so agile, and they can do things, in the dark. It's amazing what they can do with their bodies. Squirrel monkeys, their brain accounts for 5 to 6% of its total body weight, whereas humans, our brains account for between 2 to 2.5% of our total body weight. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. So let's talk about now the difference, because this kind of includes us, and it's a good segue. The difference between old world and new world monkeys, and how they kind of came to be. And these are theories that paleontologists are running with, right? So old world monkeys versus new world monkeys, there's a few ways to tell the difference from the fossil records or bones, but the easiest way is through teeth, specifically premolars. So new world monkeys, squirrel monkeys, owl monkeys, they have 3 premolars, whereas old world monkeys like gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, and Homo sapiens have just 2 premolars. So that's interesting, right? So let's talk about maybe why. So we know that primates started in the African continent. How do these monkeys get all the way to South America, where they live now? So paleontologists have a few theories. And the predominant one is monkeys got on rafts, and they went across the ocean. That sounds like a funny thing in our head, like an image, but what probably really happened was there was some huge typhoon, some huge storm, all these trees and leaves and branches and monkeys got thrown and blown into the ocean, where the monkeys, being agile and nimble, stayed alive and just stayed on these floating trees and twigs and crossed the sea, and where they landed in South America and populated South and Central America, where they remain today. And paleontologists have ran simulators that say yes, these things could have survived that journey. That was 40 million years ago. So 40 million years ago, the continents were closer together. A giant storm blows debris into the ocean, and that includes wildlife. These little monkeys are well adept to cling on and grab and sustain that journey and get to land and populate South America. That's the idea. And the kind of like the proof, the paleontological proof is, I believe they found teeth of like the same monkey species in Africa, the African continent, as well as the South American continent from around the same time. So we know they were there at the same time. Paleontologists don't think it was feasible for monkeys to go from Africa and walk all the way through Asia, across Russia, the land bridge through Alaska and Canada, down through the U.S. and then down to South and Central America. And the reason why they don't think that is because there's no fossils to represent that. There's no monkey fossils along the way. So scientists believe that monkeys took rafts. Did it happen? It could have happened. Why not, right? so it's the teeth. There's it's not to get bogged down in the details of it, but there's like a certain dental formula in New World monkeys that differs from Old World monkeys and us. So why do we have, again, those 2 premolars where these have 3 premolars? I guess evolution is the theory that our faces evolved to be flatter due to our diets, and we didn't need that 3rd premolar, where these New World monkeys were kind of like a little snapshot of these primitive monkeys, because those monkeys, ancient monkeys that got on those rafts, however they got on those rafts and crossed the ocean to South America, they had 3 premolars. So it's telling us something about evolution, and that includes us, right? And that's interesting. I don't know if you're if you're a creationist, or you believe in evolution, or if you believe in intelligent design or intelligent evolution. I'm agnostic. I have no clue. All I know is that I'm going to enjoy drawing this monkey skull, this antique monkey skull. So there's a lot of things to think about, and it's interesting that this involves us a little bit more so than other animal bones, primates, because we're in the primate family. I'm not sure how I feel about that. You know what I mean? We belong there. There's some similarities, but there's a lot of different things. I don't know. Interesting. But this skull is, this skull is, that's another reason why I bought this. It brings me kind of closer to just to ponder this stuff. And like I said before, I draw bones, and I have a human skull that's a gorgeous human skull. I want to do another episode where I compare this New World monkey skull to a human skull. And I guess I need to get now an Old World monkey skull. And I know where I can find one of those for a reasonable price. So maybe I'll have to get an Old World monkey skull. But that'll be a future episode to show the differences and the similarities between 3 primate skulls. It's weird to say that we're primates. I don't know. It's a lot of mystery. I think there's a lot of history that's been lost, and it's a really important history. I don't know. As far as this, it's a great object. As far as crossing genres, it's an antique educational specimen. It's a curiosity, and it's also a gorgeous natural world specimen of a female squirrel monkey. That's pretty much all I have to say about this for now. I'm going to learn. There's a lot more to learn about it. I hope you have learned something about this monkey skull. That's it, I guess. I'm going to put this monkey skull back in the fragile box, and I'm going to draw this soon, and maybe I'll share that with you. So I want to thank you for watching another episode of The Oldest Bone That I Own. This is the oldest and only monkey bone that I own, so it does qualify. I'm your host, E.J. Parker, and as always, thank you for checking in. 'Cause it's the oldest bone I